What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. It is Sunday, which means this video is going to come out for you guys on Monday, and we are back with my 1996 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, or as I used to call it, Brougham, because, you know, I'm uneducated. Hey, it's not my fault that nobody ever taught me the right way to say Brougham. I mean, Brougham. Anyway, here's my beautiful, and it's not perfect. I say this all the time because a lot of people seem to expect perfection. If I buy something, it should be pristine and perfect. Well, that's just not the case, man. I have bought brand new cars that were defective, all right, many times. So you cannot expect perfection from an old car. And it is. It may be relatively low miles with 81,000 on the clock, but it's an old car, and it has sat for almost 10 years. Someone just recently got her back on the road again, so she's not perfect. But this is a relatively cheap, in my opinion. I got it for $4,500. 1996 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. It's a big car. It is the last of its kind, really. 96 for General Motors anyway. We still had the Crown Vics, and you still had your Lincolns well into the 2000s, but this was really the end of the line for your full-size body-on-frame, rear-wheel drive, big V8 Cadillacs. It's not a super powerful car, but it's relatively torquey. It's got the 5.7-liter Corvette LT1 engine, detuned, of course. It is a fun car to drive. Instead of driving like a sports car where you feel everything, this car is exactly the opposite. You feel almost nothing. It really is like driving on a couch. It's very comfortable. It's very soft. I even put my own little touch on it right there. A lot of people think these cars are just ugly, you know, by today's standards. I guess maybe they are. But personally, I don't see it. I think it's a good-looking car, but unfortunately, she's not perfect. She's old, and she was obviously left sitting out in the sun for a long period of time. The dashboard is showing some wear. That's pretty common on these old GMs. You can see it's cracked across there and it's cracked down here, but that is the only damage to the dashboard right there. You can see these windshield wipers. I will not be driving this home. It is sleeting. It is ice outside. It is really bad. The windshield wiper has completely disintegrated, which means we're like metal on the glass now. The roof, I don't know if this will come out, guys. Actually, I think a lot of it will. That's mold. There is a lot, or mildew, I should say. There's a lot of mold and mildew up there. The top, thankfully, is still pliable. It's still very flexible. It hasn't gotten hard, and it's not cracking. I'll tell you this, though. The ugliest part of the car, in my opinion, is this stitching. I don't get that. Why did they do it like that? I thought maybe it was just this car, but it's not. I looked at other Fleetwoods online, and they all have this visible stitching. I don't know, maybe it was a style. I think it looks really, really bad. My power antenna even works on this car. All of the lights work. There are no warning lights on the dash other than one, and that's because of this. The trunk doesn't soft close anymore. Yeah, it just quit on me. It was working, and then I did a video trying to show you guys how awesome the pull down is, and it no longer functioned. Apparently, it's originally from some place called Fitzgerald. I had some people tell me they thought it was like in Michigan or maybe it was Maine. I don't remember. Anyway, it is a great running and driving car. I've actually driven it over the past 2 days, and I've put about 200 miles on it. I put fresh 93 octane gasoline in it. It doesn't leak. That's a big deal for me. Cars that don't leak sit really high on my list. I hate cars that leave stains in my driveway at my new house. So I drove this one over and over again. I parked it in my driveway. Lo and behold, it left no stains. So this car sits pretty high on my list. I think I'm going to sell it, though. I do. I think I'm going to. I've got to pick. Honestly, I've probably got 16 to 20 cars, and I need to get rid of about 13. It's kind of hard. I've got an idea of how many I'm going to get rid of. I got an idea of which ones. As much as I don't want to get rid of this one, because I think I got it for a really good price, I don't see this being a car that I'm going to be able to keep. It's something that I want to drive, I want to hold on to, but realistically, this is not something that I'm going to use on a regular basis. And I need some money. That's another big thing. I need some money. Monkey Wrench Mike and I are talking about doing the Power Tour again this year, and I need a Power Tour car. And although this would be an epic Power Tour car, as far as comfort and reliability is concerned, and fuel economy, this thing gets 26 miles a gallon on the highway. It's really not bad. Headliner's good. This is a nice car. And look, if you're a smoker, you get your own little ashtrays and everything. But how thoughtful is that? Anyway, even though I need to put some lube on that, even though this would be a very comfortable and most likely very reliable Power Tour car with good fuel economy. Last year we did the Power Tour in a 69 Chevelle SS, and we got 8 miles a gallon. It cost me like $1,800 in gas to go across the country in that car. It was very, very expensive. This car would be epic for the Power Tour. The only problem I have with it is, for me, I'm not saying for you, but for me, I feel like Power Tour is really more about classic cars, old cars. And while this is an antique, this is not a classic car. This is fuel injected. This has a lot of modern amenities and creature comforts like heated seats and power everything and, leather interior. It's a really nice car. And I just don't see this car really getting any attention at Power Tour. So I don't think, even though a lot of you are going to say this car is probably perfect, I personally don't think this is the Power Tour car for me. With that said, I have found a car that I'm seriously considering for the Power Tour, but if I don't make a decision on it soon, it's going to be gone. It's from Maple Motors. They don't know that I'm thinking about buying it, and I just told my fiance about it. It's a 1966 Cadillac. It's still a Cadillac, but it's a 66 Cadillac, has the original paint, and it's got patina, and it's relatively cheap at $12,000 and change. So that, I think, would be a perfect Power Tour car. But with that said, it's not Power Tour time yet, and we've got something to get done to this car before I can sell it. Now, this car is not up for sale yet. It's not ready to go yet, but it will be. This car runs and drives absolutely great. So don't worry, when it comes time to actually let it go, I will let you know. The problem I'm having is this trunk does not want to close, and it was working. Sorry, I'm still recovering from the vid. It was working, and then it just stopped. And let's get this. Come on, this should not be difficult at all. It's not. There we go. This little motor right here, I do believe, has failed. You should be able to push that button down while simultaneously pushing this button. Let me see if I can get you guys to it right here. And it should go down. And it does not. But it used to. This is super simple. Look, you got a connector right here. Should just be, whoop, there we go. That's done. Should be 2 or 3 bolts. One here, and one here. Once you take those off, this comes off, and you just bolt the new motor back on. What size is that, guys? You tell me. I'm thinking it's the compressor. It scared me. You hear that noise? I almost forgot. The Cadillac has a built-in compressor, an air compressor, and it keeps the car level. So as I was back there and I put weight on the tail end of it, the compressor kicked in to raise it back up again. I love this silly car, man. I really do, and nothing rides like these. They really don't, other than the Caprice and the Roadmaster. Nothing rides like these. These cars they float down the road, man. I love them. But anyway, I could talk about this car all day long. I don't want to get rid of it, but I need to. And I guess I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think a fair price is for this car with 81,000 miles? No warning lights, no issues. Runs and drives great. No leaks. What's a fair price? I got it for $4,500. Of course, I had to pay for shipping and, you know, like a $250 buyer's fee or something. But it is definitely not perfect. But this is a great example of a driver. Definitely a driver quality car. The paint is good. I think the top would clean up pretty nicely. It's got good tires all the way around. When we're done with this video, that trunk should be working again. I'm thinking, like, I would like to get $55 for it. I don't know if that's reasonable or not. So you guys comment in the comment section below and tell me if you think it's worth $5,500. All right, so this confused me. I thought for sure these were 10s, right? GM 10 millimeter. It's not. It's an 11. Can you believe that? An 11, and this whole thing is made of plastic. That is super, super sketchy. Definitely do not over torque these. I mean, obviously you're going to want them relatively tight, but you'd better be very careful with these, because I imagine this plastic breaks very, very easily. Oh, it was leaking. Ooh. Oh, it's full of, is that full of water? Something got in here. Well, I guarantee you that's what destroyed it right there. What is that? No, it's not water. There's nothing. Never mind, there's nothing in there. I guess I was seeing things. Huh. Well, somebody said that there's like a plastic gear in here that probably broke. It happens when people slam them and break them. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on and let's see if it works. All right, this new motor came from Caddyman. That's what he's called on eBay. It wasn't particularly cheap, but it's Caddyman Specialist. And of course, it's got a warranty and all that good stuff, as you would expect. It was $156 rebuild. Let's find out if this sucker's gonna work. I expect it will. Bingo! Yes! I love it. Well, before we go back to the car, look at my dog. What's wrong with you? She's shaking like a leaf. What's the matter? What's wrong? You're shaking like a leaf. It's not even cold. I got the heat on and everything. She doesn't want to be in the garage. She wants out. You want to go back out? I'll take you in the house in a minute. Okay, back to the car. So the trunk popper doesn't work. That's nice. You can push it and you hear the relay. There's a relay back here that clicks. Somewhere over here, listen. So there's a relay that's clicking, but again, there's probably the piece that's sitting on top, I assume is responsible for popping. I can hear it click in the glove box. I can hear it click back here, and it clicks when you... It just, the popper itself doesn't work, so you have to use the key. Thankfully, you can just open that like that and you use your round key to open it. But I want to show you guys something else real quick. Check out this license plate. This is where you fill up your gas tank, right? Look at this, it's locked. You can't open it, but if you unlock the car, would you look at that? Now lock it, and it's locked again. I did not realize that it actually had a locking mechanism back here that would automatically lock the license plate. I thought you had to lock it by hand in the trunk. That is cool. There's a couple other little features that I like in this car. I'm gonna have to put some oil on this too. That should come back up. Yeah, and you hear it click. So my guess is this right here. There's this little motor right here. It's the little popping mechanism. That sucker's probably gone bad. So am I gonna fix it? No, probably not. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it, guys. I'm gonna leave the old motor in there. Really, there's nothing for me to do. Here's the manual, in case you want to lock it manually to lock your gas tank. That's really nice. Let's close this again. I'm just fascinated by the pull down, and you don't slam it. There you go. Never ever slam it. I had so many people tell me that that putting that motor back in was going to be a huge pain. They're like, "Oh, that thing is so complicated to get lined up." It didn't require any alignment at all. Oh, and did you notice when I opened the door? Listen. No more cracking and squeaking. Yeah, I lubed it up. Monkey Wrench Mike rode in the back of this the other day. I took Monkey Wrench Mike and Santa out to dinner. Monkey Wrench Mike rode back here, and actually, this is my first time back here. This is nice. Mike, he immediately found these. Look at that. And they work. And there, see, the air compressor kicked in because I added weight to the back. It's the car telling me I'm fat. Look at that. Let me tell you, man, this is a pretty luxurious car for being something made by General Motors in 1996. You've got this big old armrest here with probably cup holders. Oh, wow. It's got a big old storage compartment and cup holders. Now, I don't know how much I would trust these. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it. And it's got those beautiful old GM buckles. You remember these? Listen to that. That's quality right there, man. Damn. That compressor is still going. And as soon as I got out, it turned off. Yeah, okay. All right. I hear what you're saying, man. All right. I'm a little heavy. And I know you wanna get out. I'll take you in just a minute. Will you calm down? The hood is a little hard to close. I went ahead and lubed this up, hoping that it would make it better. But oh, well, I guess it did. I'll take it. That's a cheap fix. And finally, let's fire it up real quick. The only light that was on my dash was my trunk light, saying that the trunk was ajar. Let's turn the radio down. Listen to that. The only light on, door ajar, and fasten seat belts. Those lights both go out, obviously, if you close the driver door. And the seatbelt light goes off if you put your seatbelt on. Headlights and everything work like they should. Signals. Brights. Everything works. Radio. It's actually got a pretty good sounding radio. And I know this is not something that most Cadillac owners are good. Excuse me. I tried to hold that cough in, man. That most Cadillac owners are going to do. You gotta. This used to be for your garage door opener, sunglasses. But look at her. She thinks it's time to go. She wants to go so bad. She's not happy. I was gonna test the horn for you, but it'd probably scare the crap out of her. Okay. You got your auto dimming rearview mirror, but in the glove box, there's something very special in here. Not the trunk release. Can you see what that says right there? Traction control right up here. A lot of people don't know this exists. You push that right there, and as soon as you do, you'll see you've got a traction control light on the dashboard there. You know what that does? Do you know what that does? You know what that does, right? Pushing that button, turning on that yellow light, I'm going to show you what it does. Hear that horn? It's like a damn train horn. So that button gives you full burnout capabilities on those back tires, guys. That's what that does. I'm sorry, baby. Can you ever find it? Oh, you're mad at me. Really? What's the matter with you, girl? You want to go? You want to get in the car? Is that what you want? Come on. Come on. Let's go. Hop in. Let's go. Come on. Come on. You don't want to? It's up to you. I don't really care. We're not taking this home anyway. We're taking the Corvette home. No, she doesn't want to. Yeah, so you can actually turn off traction control in a big, heavy Cadillac Fleetwood and do burnouts. Now, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to abuse this car, but look at these lights. Everything working like it's supposed to. I'm kind of a sucker for lights, guys. I know it's not a big deal to most people, but I've always had a thing for all of my lights working. There's one more thing I think we should do to this car before we call it quits today, and that is actually get it up in the air and let's take a look underneath it, because that is something we haven't done yet. Okay, I took the dog inside. She was freaking out, man. She was acting really weird, so I took her in the house, and she's as happy as can be now. Okay, here's one of the next things I want to do. I want you to take a look at this antenna. I noticed that the mast was not going all the way up. So I pulled it up, I extended it all the way, and I put a little bit of WD-40 down each section of it. And now, let's turn it off. Down she goes, all the way. Now let's see if she comes back up all the way. Bingo. There it is. You got to learn to appreciate the little victories, right? I know this is not a huge victory. Nothing that we did today so far is a huge victory, but this car doesn't need anything huge. It's just little stuff here and there. There we go. Just like that. Now I'm kind of wondering if I can make this clean up like this. I really should leave it alone, right? Because it's getting late. Oh, by the way, these seats are heated as well. This one's actually on. We used the heated seats earlier when we brought the car down here, and they work. All right, let's get her in the air. All right, the old girl's up in the air, and we're gonna start from the front and work our way back, starting with this right here. What could that be? Excuse me. That is penetrating oil. That is WD-40 from the hood latch. That is right there where my light is pointed. It dripped down the front of this. Next, this has a steering damper, which is honestly kind of cool. I'm going to try to get you guys in here a little bit. This is difficult. There's the whole front of the engine there. Everything looks good. Steering damper looks good. It's not leaking. Suspension, it all looks good. The boots on the tie rods, everything. Even the sway bar end links. Now this does have some rust that I didn't know about. You can clearly see it's got some scaling rust there, but it's not super heavy. It's not super deep. Frame rails and everything are nice and straight and clean. But yeah, there you go. Everything actually looks really, really good under here. Let me pull you back out. There's your core support. Looks good as well. And there's your other frame rail. Again, a little bit of rust, but nothing crazy. This car must have spent some time up north. We'll turn it around this way so you can kind of get a clear picture. As expected, mud daubers. So, like I said, I knew that this car had been sitting for a bit of time, and we were absolutely correct about that. The oil pan is a little bit, it's not wet, as in there's fluids dripping off of it. As you can see, there's nothing on the, well, I guess it'd be hard for you guys to see if there was something new on the ground, but I know my spots, man, and nothing is from this car, and I will not tolerate a car being parked at my house in my driveway if it is actively leaking oil onto the concrete. Now, what I do notice is we do have a drip that is formed right there. There's one drip trying to come down, and it is also a little wet over here. I don't think that's coming from the oil pan. Could it be coming from this oil filter adapter / oil cooler? There's definitely a possibility it's coming from there. Transmission, it's got a little bit, honestly, I believe that's oil. That's not transmission fluid. It looks like some of that has ran back onto this. But that's it. If you remember the Corvette, it had oil going down the whole back of it. Everything under here is very dry once you get to the end of the transmission pan. Everything looks really, really good. Floor pans, a little bit of surface rust on each side there, but still in good shape. There's your drive shaft. The rest of your exhaust will continue down. There's your fuel filter, e-brake cable. And everything under here looks really good. Again, back to some surface rust, but the bushings and everything look to be in good shape. There's your air shocks. They're functioning, which is always a good thing. Here's your rear axle. Again with the rust, but still, it looks fine. Everything under here looks really, really good. Moving on down to the fuel tank. And finally, the very back, the trunk pan of the car. Body mounts are in good shape. Doesn't look like anything back here has ever been wrecked. It all looks very, very original. There's your teeny tiny little mufflers right there too. Actually, I think those are just like resonators or something. The mufflers are right here. Not bad, guys. Not bad for a 1996. She really looks pretty dang good. I was surprised to see that there was a little bit of seepage under here. That really surprised me because it doesn't leave any oil in the driveway. So I didn't expect to find that. And you can really see it's come down that oil filter right there. And it's coming from above it. In fact, there's no way it's going to be a loose oil filter, right? Hold on. Hold on. I don't expect it's going to be a loose oil filter, but I'm just saying, after the experience with the Corvette, I can't help but wonder. So we're gonna climb under here again, and I'm just gonna take this rag and I'll put it on this filter here. Oh yeah, she's nasty. She is nasty. Surely it's not a loose oil filter, right? No. Oh no, that's not a loose oil filter. Well, since I'm already under here, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of wipe this stuff off. I mean, you can see this isn't like years and years of heavy caked off. So this stuff wipes. I'm not even using any cleaners on it. You know what I mean? It just wipes right off of here like it's nothing. Same thing with the trans pan. Most of this, in fact, my rag is getting a little clogged up with grease and oil now, but there we go. I would say nothing that you wouldn't expect out of a car that's this old. And even though it's only got 80,000 miles on it, I mean, 80,000 is, you know, that's got some miles on her, guys. She's not a spring chicken anymore. Let's clean up this pan just a tad bit too. There we go. There, I feel better now. I don't know about you guys, but I feel better now. That's what came off of it. All right. Well, there's your tour underneath. Nothing surprising, really. She's in good shape. Well, guys, we fixed the only thing that I really had set to fix today, and a couple other things that weren't all that important. Minor things like the hood closing, the trunk closing, and that antenna. That was kind of annoying, too. Other than needing a pair of windshield wipers currently, that's about all she needs. The tires are older, but I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, I've driven 200 miles. There's no funny vibrations or noises. Nothing. The car rides smooth and quiet. So I've considered putting a set of tires on it just because these tires are old. And I want white wall tires. I don't think a Cadillac looks proper with black wall tires. The problem is, I started looking around. I went to TireRack.com. I even went to eBay. I went to Walmart.com, and I looked for some cheap, like Douglas or something, you know, white wall tires just to complete the look of the car. I can't find any. It's like they don't make them anymore. I can't believe it. However, there is one company that still manufactures white walls. Well, there's a couple. You have Coker. Coker makes like their Coker Classic. You could get some Coker tires for this car. They're not cheap. The other set of tires for this is Vogue. I'm sure you guys have heard of Vogue, right? The you got the mayonnaise and mustard, the gold and white sidewalls. Now, those are some really nice tires. They're pretty fancy. $1,100, like $1,150 installed from Tire Rack. And that's it. That's it. You got Coker and you got Vogue. I don't know who I would really prefer to go with. And the tire size on this is supposed to be, let's see. Wait, is this actually a 97? Interesting. So the new model year Cadillacs come out in September. And this is October, guys. Is that a fluke? 10 of 96 is 97. Interesting. Well, there's the VIN number. You guys can look this car up for yourself if you want to. It's about as good as I can get you in there. Anyway, the tire size for this car is supposed to be 235/70/15 front and back. The weight of this car, let's see what that is. Oh, wow. 5,653 pounds. She's a heavy car. Anyway, that 10 of 96, though, that is interesting because, like I said, in September, the next model year comes out. So if you buy a car that is a September of 2003, it should be a 2004. So October of 96 is technically a 97, but look at this. I've got the book for a 96. How did this car get manufactured in October but still end up with a model year of 96? Guys, this is very rare. I've never come across this before. Technically, this car is a 1997, which makes it pretty damn unique because the Fleetwood Brougham did not exist in 1997. So I'm a little confused and I broke out the phone. Can you see what I'm on? Wikipedia. The Cadillac Fleetwood. I know it's blurry, but let me tell you what it says. It says the Fleetwood is a model of luxury cars manufactured by Cadillac for the upscale Brougham version. See Fleetwood Brougham, but model years from 77 to 96. Production from 76 to 96. So Wikipedia says this car ended in 1996. So please, somebody in the comments section, explain to me how the production date of this car legally makes it a 1997. Oh, before we get out of here, I want to try this trunk one more time just to verify that it's working properly. All right. And let's close it. Oh, hold on. What is this? That's our information label right there. I don't know if that's going to come out well on camera, but there you go. If somebody wants to pause it and look it up and see if there's anything interesting there. Probably not, but here we go. Last time. I love that. I love that. This is the problem I have with buying these cars. Most of the cars I have are very, very cheap, you know, and they're not very popular cars, so the views don't do all that well. And when it comes time to resell them, they generally don't resell very well either. The thing is, though, is like I buy the cars that I really love. This is a car that I've always wanted and I've never had. And now that I've got it, I love it even more. It really is a great car, and I don't want to sell it, but the other problem is money. I cannot buy all of these cars and keep them. It makes no sense. I know there's people that do. I see them on YouTube. They keep all of their cars, but for me, I only drive 2 cars, 3 maybe. On occasion, I'll drive a third one. But very rarely will I get into more than 3 cars that I could drive regularly. And when you're sitting on almost 20 cars, it gets to a point where you start feeling like you're neglecting, well, maybe not. I look at cars a little differently than most people. I don't see a car as just metal and 4 wheels. Like they each have their own personality, their own quirks, kind of like people. You know, they all have their own little quirks and features. They're all weird in certain ways, and every single car eventually experiences problems, and you got to get to know them and figure them out. You got to learn to navigate them just like people. So to me, cars, they're not just cars. I don't want to say that they're alive or anything. It's not Christine. I don't even want to say that they have a soul. But kind of to me, that's what it feels like. It feels like they've got their own spirit and their own unique personalities. And you got to learn them and you got to love them. And I do. And when you love something, do you park it in your yard and let it sit in the freezing cold or in the hot summer sun? No. If you love something, you take care of it. You spend time with it. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to admit it, but I'm just one guy. I don't have the time, or the money for that matter, to take care of 20 cars. I can't do it. I would rather, and this is where I'm different from a lot of other people, I would rather send them down the road and maybe lose a little bit of money and know that they're going to a good home, knowing that somebody is going to spend that time with them, take care of them properly. I would rather that than leave them sitting here not being used, sinking into the dirt. Like I said, I know I'm weird like that, I guess. I've been this way since I was a little kid, man. I always saw different cars and I saw something other than cars. You know what I mean? I saw the personality and the design, and I love them. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable car guy, and I'm definitely not a master mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a guy with a garage and some tools that likes wrenching on cars and hanging out with friends and having a good time and sharing the experience with my audience. That's all I am. If you understand what I'm talking about with these cars, do me a favor, hit the like button and drop a comment below. Let me know that I'm not the only one. And then tell me what you think would be the best price for this car. I want it to be fair. I definitely want to sell it for a fair price. I don't want anybody to feel like they're getting ripped off or I'm trying to make a fortune off of them. At the same time, I don't really want to lose money on this car. It's a good one. It is a damn good car. And I think I got it for a good price. I think somebody else could get it for a good price too. So drop a comment below and just tell me what you think this car is worth. I got to get the cars that I have here gone. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay safe out there. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.